While eating grilled corn, a man stumbled upon a business idea. He noticed his son wincing and tearing up from the spicy sauce on the corn, but still devouring it with delight. That's when inspiration hit him. What if chips could be spicy too? So the whole family bought up tons of chili sauces and began experimenting day and night. But their first few batches weren't great.
Hot, like elote hot? Good hot?
No! Bad, bad, bad!
While most factories turned to chemicals to manufacture chili extracts with extra kick, Richard insisted on using real, natural ingredients, blended with authentic Mexican flavor, to mix the spices evenly. He even repurposed a hamster wheel as a mixer. The family scoured the city, sampling all kinds of peppers. Eventually, they found the perfect fiery, addictive flavor.
Ow,
Burns good or burns bad?
it burns good.
We did it! Yeah!
Of course we did!
Despite the success of the sauce, the executives didn't care. They were too busy laying people off. They mocked Richard, telling him to pitch his dream straight to the CEO. So Richard did exactly that. He picked up the phone and called the CEO.
Thank you for taking my call. I have an idea that you need to hear.
I'm listening.
Okay, yes. I'm Mexican. I'm proud of it. And there's a lot of us in this country, and we spend money on snacks just like everybody else. We eat Doritos, but not before covering them suckers with tapatio. Like the more it burns, the more money we'll spend on it. So I thought, why don't I make my own spicy slurry?
You made your own spicy slurry?
Yeah, I did, and it's good. You can slather it on everything. Doritos, Fritos, popcorn, Cheetos. And the best part, sir, it is 100% Mexican approved. My family, my neighbors, they can't get enough.
That's a lot of confidence there, Richard.
Yes, sir. Look, if it's okay, I'd like to send you some samples, sir.
Richard, that's more than okay with me.
More than okay.
Thank you, sir.
To everyone's surprise, the CEO listened. He gave Richard an address to send samples. Richard and his wife mailed a huge box to Roger, the CEO, and when Roger took the first bite of a Flamin Hot Cheeto, he was instantly hooked. Before he could even wipe his fingers, he called Richard back, saying he was flying to the US to visit the factory. But chaos erupted among factory leaders. They were furious, trying to find out who contacted the CEO. When they discovered it was Richard, the manager publicly scolded him in front of the whole staff. He warned, if Roger rejected the idea and saw the plant's financial losses, he'd pull the plug. The factory would close, and everyone would lose their jobs. Richard began to doubt himself. He came home broken, but his wife never lost faith. She encouraged him, and together they practiced what to say. On the day of the CEO's visit, Richard wore his best suit.
I'm so proud of you, and I'll always regret not being the man who made you the man you are today. Always. Ahora, chingatelos. Qué cool.
The moment Roger's car pulled up, fate began to shift. He asked Richard to present the new product, but reading from the script felt wrong. So Richard spoke from the heart. He held up a Flamin Hot Cheeto and explained the story behind the flavor. When the executives asked about projected market share, he didn't know the term, so he stretched his arms, mimicking how long the chip aisle was at the supermarket.
This much market share.
They laughed at him, but then Richard broke it down. People like him, people from the bottom, loved spicy snacks. Roger stood up and copied Richard's gesture. He was sold. The company moved forward with production, but the product flopped at launch. It sat untouched on store shelves. The manager wanted to shut it down. Crushed, Richard felt like a failure. He was ready to give up. Becky couldn't bear to see him quit.
Embarrassment's never stopped you before? Ask questions. You wore my ass out with them. Look here. The person I met 10 years ago wouldn't blink. He'd find a way, any way to get it done. I don't want to look you up in 20 years from now just to find out you're still down here on the bottom. Step up.
That night, Richard couldn't sleep. Talking to his family, he realized no one had advertised the product. Seeing him upset, his son handed over all his saved-up allowance, telling Richard to use it for marketing. Suddenly, Richard had a plan. He called up his old friends from the neighborhood, former gang members. They launched a street-level promotion campaign. Richard returned to the factory to rally the workers' support. Some tried to stop him, but Becky shut them down. Everyone knew the product was good. It just needed exposure. So Richard loaded all the unsold Flamin' Hot Cheetos onto trucks. His crew gave them away for free on street corners. His family cleared out store shelves to create buzz. People noticed. Richard used the opportunity to pitch the spicy snack to anyone who'd listen. Soon, the whole city was hooked. The first quarter sales report reached Roger's desk. He was stunned. When he asked how much the factory had invested, he was shocked to learn not a single penny, because Richard was just a janitor. That changed everything. Roger placed a 5 million unit order. The factory, once on the brink of collapse, sprang back to life. Production lines fired up. Laid-off workers were called back overnight. They worked non-stop to fill the order. 6 months later, the factory was thriving again. Becky smiled warmly and formally reintroduced herself to Richard.
Now looking at the new plant manager in Bakersfield.
Oh, yeah! Man, they should have made your damn president, brother.
You're not wrong.
He smiled back, but still felt like a janitor at heart. Until one day, as he cleaned the second floor, Roger was waiting at an office door. Roger slid a nameplate into place. Director of Marketing, Richard Montañez. The room burst into applause. Richard sat at his desk, took a deep breath, and called his wife. His dream had come true. He became an executive at PepsiCo and Frito Lay. Flamin Hot Cheetos became a multi-billion-dollar brand, and his love story with his wife became the stuff of legend. They stood by each other for 48 years, still deeply in love. Behind every successful man is a woman who believed in him before anyone else did.